So, I guess we'll start, no? Okay. So, we're at item number 10. Item 10. And item 10 is a problem that is related to the loss on significant influence. Again, we are still at investment in associate. And we'll just, I will just share the Excel file. I hope you're seeing the Excel file now. Yan. Okay. So, loss on significant influence. When an entity loses the significant influence, babalik na siya doon sa investment at fair value. Okay, just like in item 10. Let's read item 10. In item 10, it says that the entity, ABC Company, acquired 30,000 ordinary shares for 3 million, representing 30% interest in XYZ's net assets. Okay, so 30% interest. The threshold is only 20% for the presumption of significant influence. Therefore, this investment should be properly classified as investment in associate. At the time of acquisition, XYZ's net assets are fairly revalued at 10 million. Prior to revaluation, the net assets had a book value of 8 million. The difference between the revalued amount and the carrying amount is attributable to a building. The building has remaining useful life of 10 years with no residual value. It is XYZ's policy to depreciate all tangible assets using the straight line method. At the end of 20X1, XYZ reported a profit of 1 million and paid cash dividends of 600,000. At December 31, the shares are selling at 100 per share. On July 1X2, ABC sold 60% of its investment in XYZ at the prevailing price of 120. Here is the time where ABC loses the significant influence because ABC Company sold 60% of its shares. Okay? XYZ reported interim profit of 500,000 for the 6-month ended June 30, 20X2. On December 31, 20X2, XYZ reported total profit of 1.2 million for the year and declared 1 million cash dividend. The shares are quoted at 135 per year at year end. And this problem is an actual board exam problem. Okay? So, if you will be encountering a kind of problem like this, no? I-drawing mo muna, imapa mo muna. Huwag ka munang umatake sa problem. Look for the requirement. Compute for the carrying amount of the investment, July 1, 20X2. How much the gain or loss on sale? Then, how much is the gain on the remeasurement or reclassification? And what is the total income to be recognized? Okay. This letter A class, the carrying amount of the investment July 1, 20X2, if you will look at the choices, this refers to the carrying value of the investment prior to disposal on January 1, 20X2. If you will strictly follow the requirement July 1, 20X2, wala kang makikitang sagot sa choices. Okay? Hindi ko siya binago kasi yan nga yung nasa board exam. Okay? Ganyan siya. So technically speaking, ang tanong dapat dyan, compute for the carrying value of the investment June 30, 20X2 and that is prior to disposal. Okay. Ano ang kwento sa likod ng problem na to? Ang sinasabi niya dito, class, meron daw siyang 30,000. 30,000 ordinary shares. So this is 30,000 ordinary shares. At sinasabi niya, class, na meron siyang 30% ownership interest. So 30% ownership interest. Ibig sabihin, ang outstanding number of shares ay 100,000 shares. Yan. Okay? So 30,000 number of shares out of the 100,000 outstanding number of shares. Kaya siya merong 30%. Yan. Kaya siya merong 30% na. Okay. Kaya meron siyang 30% na ownership interest. Then, ang nangyari class, pagdating ng July 1, 20X2, binenta ni ABC Company yung 60% ng kanyang investment. Ibig sabihin, kung 30,000 yan, ang 60% nito ay ilang shares. So that is 30,000 times 60%. Binenta niya class ang 18,000 shares. Kung binenta niya ang 18,000 shares, ibig sabihin, ang natitira sa kanya, okay? Ang natitira sa kanya ay ilan na lang. That is 30,000 minus 18,000 shares sold. Ito na lang ang naiiwan sa kanya. Ito na lang ang naiwan. Ito ang binenta. Okay? Ibig sabihin, with this level of ownership on the ordinary shares, this would translate to what percentage of ownership? Meron na lang siyang 12,000 over the outstanding number of shares na 100,000. 12% na lang class ang kanyang ownership interest. Ibig sabihin, this is below the threshold limit of 20% to be classified as investment in associate. Ibig sabihin, at this point, wala na siyang significant influence. Babalik na siya sa investment at fair value. Kaya ang topic dito is loss on significant influence. Okay. Now, the first thing is to compute for the carrying amount, July 1, 20X2. Okay. So let's compute for the carrying value of the investment prior to disposal. So gawa tayo dito ng T account. So this is your investment in associate. Okay. Sabi natin, the investment in associate should be measured at cost. So the cost here is 3 million pesos. That is the acquisition cost of this 30,000 ordinary shares. So this is 3 million. Okay. Our objective is to compute for the investment in associate June 30, 20X2 or prior to disposal. Pero class, siguro mas maganda, dumaan muna tayo sa 20X1. Then we'll proceed with June 30, 20X2. Again, this is prior to disposal. Investment in associate, ito yung requirement natin. This is June 30, 20X2. That is prior to disposal. Okay? Yan. Then sabi niya, meron daw siya ditong in 20X1, XYZ reported profit of 1 million pesos. Okay, ibig sabihin, merong share in net income here amounting to 30% of 1 million. So that is 1 million times 30%. That is 300,000. Okay, then meron daw dineclare na dividends na 600,000. So this is the share in dividends. Okay, which is 30% of that. That is 600,000 times 30%. Okay, so that is 180,000 pesos. Pero class, unlike in the previous problems, meron ka nandito, the net assets is not equal to the cost or the fair value of the net assets acquired. Ibig sabihin, may problema tayo dito. And this refers to the asset, and the asset is a building. Okay. So, ang problema dyan is this. The fair value of the assets, sabi niya, ay 10 million pesos. Okay, this is 10 million. Which should be the amount to be recorded. 10 million. However, class, ang nangyari, the carrying value or the book value that is being recorded is only 8 million pesos. Ito, 8 million. Okay, so, yan. Meron tayong tinatawag dito na overvaluation or undervaluation of assets. Ang tanong, ano ito? Is this Yes, there is a difference of 2 million. Okay. Ang tanong is that 2 million represents an overvaluation or undervaluation of assets. Chat box, please. Okay? So the 2 million is what? Is that overvaluation or undervaluation of assets? Ganito ang palatandaan dyan. Okay? This is the book value or the carrying value. Okay? Is this underbook or overbook? Ganun siya. Okay? Para hindi ka malito eh. Kasi may nalilito doon klasa. Ano ba yan? Overvalued, undervalued? Tanungin mo ganito, is this underbook or overbook? What should be booked is 10 million. Oh, is this is the book value? Is this underbook or overbook? This is underbook. Ibig sabihin, there is an undervaluation of assets. Okay? Mas madaling maintindihan kung underbook or overbook. Pag underbook, undervalued. Okay. This is a building. Building ito. Okay? Then, merong counterpart yan na nominal account, which is your depreciation expense. What should have been recorded is this. The life of the asset, the useful life of the asset is 10 years. Okay? Therefore, the proper depreciation to be booked is 1 million divided by 10 years, and this is 1 million pesos. However, what has been booked is just 800,000, that is 8 million divided by 10. Okay? So this is 800,000. Therefore, there is an undervaluation of depreciation expense amounting to 200,000 pesos. Okay? Yan. So there is an undervalued depreciation expense. Okay? This is undervalued. Question. If your depreciation is undervalued by 200,000, what is the effect in your net income? So your net income is overvalued by 200,000. Okay, overvalued by 200,000. Okay, ano ang naging problema niyan? If the income pala is overvalued by 200,000, therefore, yung net income kung saan ka nakisali, ito, no? 1 million, di ba? XYZ reported profit, 1 million pesos. Nakisali ka dyan eh. Your share in net income is 300,000. That is 1 million times 30%, 300,000. However, this net income pala of 1 million pesos is overvalued by 200,000. If that is the case, what is now the effect in your share in net income? That is also overvalued. By how much? Not by 200,000 because you only share with the income reported, equivalent to 30%. Therefore, this is now your amortization of the undervaluation of assets kasi sobra ang 300,000 mo. Magkano lang ba dapat? Magkano ba ang sobra? Ang sobra ay nandito. 200,000 times 30%. Yan ang sobra dun sa share in net income mo. Therefore, your true share in net income is not 300,000 because you've shared in a net income that is overstated by 200,000. Therefore, the correct share in net income is only 240,000 or the difference between this 300,000 and 60,000 pesos. Nakuha? Yes or no? Y or N lang. Okay? Yan. So therefore, the carrying value of the investment in 20x1, this is 3 million plus 300,000 minus 180,000 minus 60,000. This is now the carrying value December 31, 20x1. But this is not the requirement. the requirement is for June 30, 20x2. Okay, let's now compute. So the beginning balance in 20x2 would be the computed ending in 20x1, which is 3,060,000. Then what happened in 20x2? In 20x2, ABC sold 60% of its investment when July 1, 20x2. Therefore, the significant influence of ABC company over the investee, XYZ, will only flow until June 30, 20x2. So from January 1, 20x2 to June 30, 20x2, yes, ABC company still has the significant influence over the investee. Therefore, at this point, at this period, January to 6/30 or June 30, magre-recognize pa siya or gagamit pa siya ng equity method of accounting. However, from July 1, 20x2, moving forward, wala na siyang significant influence. Okay? Babalik na siya sa investment at fair value. Okay? Therefore, any income reported from January to June 30, 20x2, meron pa rin siyang corresponding share in net income. At ang sinabi dito, class, ay ganito. XYZ reported interim profit of 500,000 for the first 6 months ended June 30, 20x2. Therefore, meron pa rin siyang share in net income with that period. Okay? And on December 31, XYZ reported total profit of 1.2 million for the year and declared dividend of 1 million cash dividend. The shares are quoted at 135 per year at 135 per share at year end. Okay. So meron pa rin siya ditong share in net income. Okay. And the interim income reported is 500,000 pesos. So this is 500,000 times 30%. Okay. Meron bang dineclare na dividend until June 30, 20x2? Wala. Okay? Ang dividendo ay dineclare dito nung December 31. Wala hanggang June 30. So, walang share in dividends. However, class, ito hindi naman ito naayos. Okay? Ibig sabihin, if there is an undervaluation, amortization of the undervaluation of assets for 60,000, and 60,000 represents the undervaluation of assets for 1 year. Ito, 1 year yan, di ba? Isang taon. So, ito kalahating taon. So, if 60,000 is for 1 year, therefore, the 0.5 year or the 6 months or half year is only 30,000 pesos. Okay? So, this is the undervaluation of assets for 20x2. Amortization of the undervaluation of assets for as of June 30, 20x2. Therefore, this is now the carrying value of your investment prior to disposal, which should be our answer in letter A. So, this is 3,060,000 plus 150,000 minus 30,000. And this is 3,180,000 pesos. Okay? 3.18 million pesos. That is our answer. Okay. Please inform me if nagkakalag ha, para hindi tayo magka-problema. Okay. So we'll proceed. So the answer in letter A is 3,180,000 pesos. Okay? Again, to summarize in 15 seconds, the beginning balance is 3,060,000. Then a share in net income of 150,000. Then we have the undervaluation of assets of 30,000, and the answer is 3,180,000. That is prior to disposal. Okay, did you get the 3.18 million? Can I proceed? Okay, so let's now have item B. Okay, in item B, the requirement is for us to compute the gain, no? The gain daw. The gain on ito. How much is the gain on sale? Okay, how much is the gain on sale? Okay. Close ko lang class yung ibang ibang naka-open, no? Para hindi tayo magka-problema. Sige. So, the requirement is for us to compute for the gain on sale. Okay. And the gain on sale will come from the disposal of 18,000 shares. Ito yun eh. 18,000 shares ang binenta ng July 1, 20X2. O sige. So, magkano binenta? Okay, ito. Concentrate on this. 60% of the 30,000 were sold and that represents 18,000 shares. Okay, dito tayo. Sa nakikita na rin. Okay. So, the selling price is 18,000 shares times 120 per share, cited in the first sentence of the third paragraph at the prevailing price of 120. So this is the selling price. So this is 18,000 times 120. Okay. So that is 2,160,000 would be the selling price of that 18,000 shares. Ito wala na to. Disposed na to. Okay, and what is the carrying value that represents that 18,000 shares? Dito ka. Okay, this carrying value that we've computed earlier, 3,180,000, that represents the carrying value of these 30,000 shares. Okay, 60% of the 30,000 were sold, meaning 60% of this would be the carrying value of the investment disposed. So, dito tayo. So, this is 3,180,000 times 60%. Okay? Yan yung dinispose. Okay? That is 1,908,000. Okay? So, what remains to us is magkano? Diba 3.18 million yan. 60% dispose. Okay? Dispose na to eh. So this is 3,180,000 times 60% the amount of investment disposed. Okay, and that is 1,908,000. What remains to us if we are ABC, that is 3,180,000 minus 1,908,000. Okay, so ang naiiwan sa atin is 1,272,000 na lang. Tandaan mo yan. Okay, dito tayo. 2.16 million selling price versus the carrying value of 1,908,000. There is now a gain on sale. Okay, so there is a gain on sale. This is 2,160,000 minus 1,908. And this is now our answer in problem B, requirement B. 1 million or 252,000. That is the gain on investment. Okay? Let's do item C. Magkano ang gain on remeasurement or reclassification? Okay. Tandaan mo, class, July 1, 20X2, 12,000 shares na lang ang hawak mo. That only represents 12% of your ownership interest. Okay. That only represents 12% ownership interest. That 12% now is related to this 1,272,000, which is the remaining carrying amount of the investment. However, this investment amounting to 1,272,000 is still, okay, presented as investment in associate. Diba? Galing siya dito, investment in associate. So, ang account title niya pa rin dito is investment in associate pa din. Tanong, tama ba na ipakita pa rin ito as investment in associate? Y or N? Y or N is yes or no? O, hindi na. Okay, bakit? Kasi wala na siyang significant influence over the investee. If you will present this still as investment in associate, therefore, you are now misleading the readers of your financial statements. Okay? This should now be reclassified. Okay, and what is the proper classification now? Since you only have 12% ownership interest, ibig sabihin, dapat investment at fair value ka na lang. Sir, the investment in fair value related to equity ownership is related to two. One, it may be classified as investment at fair value through profit or loss, or it may be classified at fair value through other comprehensive income. So what would be, sir, the proper classification? If the problem is silent, that would fall under investment at fair value. So, investment at fair value through profit or loss. FBPN. Okay? So, ito mapapalitan. Ang lilitaw sa libro mo, fair value, investment at fair value through profit or loss. Ang tatanggalin mo, yung investment in associate. Okay? Ito yun. Tatanggalin mo na, tsutsugiin natin tong 1.27 na yan. So the resulting figure may be a gain or loss on reclassification. So let's now focus here. Okay, let's recall the concept under fair value to profit or loss. So we've discussed previously that the initial measurement of the fair value to profit or loss should be at fair value. At fair value, di ba? So, if we are reclassifying the investment on July 1, 20X2, which is the date of the disposal of the 60% ownership interest, therefore, this would be the time that the investment should be reclassified into fair value to profit or loss. Therefore, to measure the fair value to profit or loss, what is the fair value at 7/1/20X2? Okay? Strictly speaking, wala naman siyang nilagay dyan na fair value at July 1, 20X2. However, if you would define what is a fair value is the exchange price between the seller and the buyer in an arm's length transaction. Fair value is the exchange price between the seller and the buyer in an arm's length transaction. Since merong bentahan na nangyari ng July 1, 20X2. And this is now the exchange price between the seller and the buyer in an arm's length transaction, which is 120. Therefore, the remaining 12,000 shares, ito yung naiwan na 12,000 shares, okay, should now be valued at 120 pesos per share. And lilitaw sa libro mo ay 1,440,000. Yan ang lalabas sa books mo. Ano ang mawawala? 1,272,000. Therefore, you are having the so-called gain on reclassification or remeasurement. Kasi mas malaki ang lilitaw sa books kaysa sa natanggalin na 1.27 million. Therefore, there is a gain on reclassification amounting to 168,000 pesos. That is the answer in letter C. Okay? Then, we have the final requirement. What is the total income to be recognized in 20X2? Okay. The total income to be recognized here, as far as the board exam choices is concerned, okay, the totality of the income earned. Okay? So, isa-isahin natin. Ang tanong niya kasi 20X2 di ba? So, from January to June 30, 20X2, meron kang share in net income. Okay. Share in net income. That is one of the income earned. Okay. However, class, hindi naman 150,000 ang totoong income na na-recognize mo. Magkano lang? That is only 150 minus 30,000 pesos. And that is equivalent to 120,000. Ito, 150 minus 30,000. This is 120,000. That is the income recognized when you are still at the investment in associate. Okay? Then, ano pa ang income na recognize mo? You have the gain on sale. Okay? The gain on sale is how much? Kinumpute natin kanina yon, nandito siya. This is 252,000. Then, you have the gain on remeasurement or reclassification, that is 168,000 pesos. Yan. Then, ano pa kaya? Kapag sinold mo to class, may makikita kang sagot sa multiple choice. Pero hindi yon ang tamang sagot. Bakit? Kasi class, meron kang i-recognize na isa pa. Ano yon? You are at fair value. Fair value through profit or loss. At 1,440. We're talking about December 31, 20x2. At pinag-usapan natin last time that if there would be a change between the fair value, there would now be a recognition of unrealized gain or unrealized loss. Okay? So since 120 siya ng July at nung December 31, ano na siya? 135 na siya. Therefore, there should be an unrealized gain that should be recognized. So this is unrealized gain. And the unrealized gain should be 15 increment. Diba? 120 versus 135, there is an increment of 15 per share. So 15 times the remaining shares of ilan? 12,000 shares. Diba? 12,000 nga ba? Oo. Yung nasa taas yan, 12,000 na iwan. Okay? So this is now 15 times the 12,000 shares. This is now your gain on or unrealized gain due to the changes in fair value. Okay? Amounting to 180,000 pesos. Okay? Pag sinol mo itong class, may lalabas sa choice, pero hindi pa rin yun ang tamang sagot. Bakit? Kasi class, you are now only considered as a regular investor having 12% ownership interest. At ang sabi natin, if you are owning an investment of less than 20%, you are just considered as a regular investor. Therefore, any dividends that the entity will declare, meron kang participation, meron kang pwedeng ma-earn na dividend income. Okay, as long as the declared dividends is a cash dividend or property dividend. And the entity declared cash dividend here. Therefore, you can recognize a dividend income equivalent to 12% of that 1 million. So this is 12% times the reported 1 million dividend. Okay, so that is your corresponding dividend income amounting to 120,000 pesos. Okay? Yan. So this is now the total income to be recognized. Sagot, that is kanda yan, 840,000 pesos. That is now the total income to be recognized. Okay? That is problem 10. And problem 10 is an actual board exam problem. Okay? Kailangan makuha mo to ha. Baka kasi ulitin. Okay? These are the summary of answers again. Letter A, that is 3,180,000 pesos. Letter B, gain on sale of 250,000. Gain on the measurement, letter C, of 168,000. And the total income to be recognized of 108 or 840,000. And that is now your problem 10. Okay? Let's proceed to problem 11. Okay. In problem 11 class, hindi na ito yung loss on significant influence. Okay? Ito naman from investment at fair value to equity method of accounting. Therefore, this is what you call the step acquisition. Okay? And the step acquisition, sabi natin, prospective lang naman yan, ang application. And you will be using the fair value deemed as cost approach. What is that fair value deemed as cost approach? That fair value deemed as cost approach, that is on the assumption na parang binenta mo yung existing shares mo, tapos bumili ka ng panibago ng mas malaki pa. Paano yun? Basahin natin si problem 11. Tapos bubuksan ko rin yung corresponding concept map nito para mas maintindihan ang konsepto. In problem 11 class, problem 11, dati siyang I'll just open the concept behind this para makita mo. Okay? So investment in equity ito, no? Ayan. Okay. So share ko muna yung concept map para mas makuha natin yung related discussion to this. Okay. So, basahin muna natin yung problem, then proceed tayo sa concept map, then atakihin natin yung problem. Okay. Game. On January 1, X1, ABC Company received, sabi niya, nawala yung screen, acquired 10,000 shares representing 10% interest in XYC's 100,000 outstanding shares for 800,000 pesos. In 20X1, XYC reported profit of 5 million and declared and paid dividends of 1 million. The investment was initially classified as investment held for trading, measured at fair value to profit or loss. The fair value of the shares on December 31, X1 is 85 per share. Okay. As of December 31, 20X1, the investment held for trading securities has a carrying amount of 850,000 equal to fair value. On July 1, 20X2, ABC acquired additional 15,000 shares at 70 per share, resulting to an increase in ownership interest over XYZ from 10 to 25%. And the transaction did not result to goodwill. In 20X2, XYZ reported profit of 6 million, of which 4 million were earned in the second half of the year. In addition, XYZ declared and paid dividends of 1 million on December 31, 20X2. The XYZ shares have quoted price of 90 per share on December 31, 20X2. Okay? Compute for the carrying value of the investment, July 1, 20X2, and compute for the carrying value of the investment, December 31, 20X2. So the nature of the problem here is this. From January 20X1 down to June 30, 20X2, the investment is considered as investment at fair value. However, from July 1, investment in associate na siya kasi meron na siyang 25% ownership interest. So what is the concept related here? Okay, I'll just share the concept. Okay, this is the concept. May utang pa pala ako sa inyo, no? Kasi sabi ko last time, the concept map will be uploaded. Wala pa pala dun, no? Sige. Before, sa lunch break, i-load natin lahat yan. Ito yung mga pinag-uusapan natin last time. Masusundan mo yan if you have the recording. Ito siya, class, oh. So, this is the step acquisition. So, the step acquisition is from investment at fair value to equity method, and the treatment is prospective. And you will be using the fair value deemed as cost approach. Okay? Ito yung kanina, loss on significant influence, no? Ito, the percentage of ownership is less than 20%. You're using PFRS 9. And if the percentage of ownership is ito higher than 50% pala ito. So this is now, saan mo to gagamitin, class? This will be used for AFAR, no? This is PFRS 3 and PFRS 10. Okay? So yan yon. Then we have ito mamaya, the intercompany transactions, inter-entity transactions, related party transactions po ito. Okay? So, sige. So, let's now deal with the on-hand problem. The on-hand problem is the step acquisition, and this is the fair value deemed as cost approach that we will be using. Okay? So, balik ako ngayon dun sa Excel file. Okay, so this is not the problem. We will be using the fair value deemed as cost approach here. Okay, the fair value deemed as cost approach, ganito yung gagawin natin, class. Ang assumption doon, itong 10,000 shares mo ay binenta mo ng July 1, 20X2 at bumili ka ng panibagong shares na mas mataas. So ang gagawin lang dyan, ganito lang kasimple. Okay, so that is 10,000 shares plus 15,000 shares. That would now be 25,000. Okay, that 25,000 times times the fair value of that date or the arm's length transaction or the exchange price between the seller and the buyer in an arm's length transaction, which is 70. So, ganun lang siya kasimple. So, this is 25,000 times 70. This would now be the answer. That is the fair value deemed as cost approach. So, the answer in problem letter A is 1,750,000 pesos. Ganun lang kasimple yon. Okay? Okay, then what is the carrying value of the investment December 31, 20X2? The carrying value of the investment December 31, 20X2, syempre gagawa ka na lang ng T-account kasi nasa investment in associate ka na. Okay, so this is copy tayo ng isang T-account dito. Okay, yan yun. So here, the beginning balance here as of July is 1,750,000. Ito na yon. Then from July to December 31, meron ka ng share in net income. Okay? And the share in net income to be reported here is only related to the second half of the year, which is 4 million pesos. Yan lang yon. So this is 4 million times 25% ownership interest. Okay, this is 0.25. Okay, so that is 1 million pesos. Okay. Then there is a declaration of dividends amounting to 1 million then. So this is 1 million times 25%. 1 million times 25%. Okay, times 25. Okay, so this is 250,000. Therefore, the answer here, carrying value December 31, 20X2 is 1.75 million plus 1 million minus 250,000. And the answer here is 2.5 million pesos. That is the answer in letter B. Okay, this is your investment in associate December 31, 20X2. Okay? Investment in associate 1231X2. Okay? So let's now proceed to the next problem. Again, concept, the fair value Dimas cost approach. Simple lang, previous shares plus the additional shares times the acquisition cost, or at 70 pesos related to this problem. This is 1.70. Then from here, you will be using the equity method of accounting, wherein the entity or the investor will share in any changes in the equity of the investee. Let's move to item 12. In item 12 class, this is just the same as item 11. Kasi galing lang din naman sila sa investment at fair value. The only difference is nanggaling to sa FVOCI. Okay? But before we proceed class, please correct your handouts here. Kasi ang sabi niya dito, the investment was initially classified as investment held for trading securities measured at FBPL. This should have been read as the investment was initially classified as FBOCI. Again, this sentence, the investment was initially classified as investment held for trading securities measured at fair value through profit or loss, should have been read as the investment was initially classified as FBOCI. Okay? The requirement for this problem is to compute also for the total carrying amount of the investment July 1, 20X2, and the requirement 2 is more on an AFAR question. No? Sa AFAR ito madalas ginagamit. That is what? How much is the goodwill arising from the investment in associate on July 1, 20X2? What is the story behind this item 12? The story behind this item 12 is the same as the previous problem, wherein the entity only has 10% ownership interest in January 1, 20X2. Okay? Then 10,000 out of the 100,000 outstanding shares, which the entity acquired for 800,000 pesos. And in 20X1, XYZ reported 5 million profit and declared and paid dividends of 1 million. The investment was initially classified as FBOCI as restated or as amended. The fair value of the shares is 85 per share. As of December 31, the investment has a carrying amount of 850,000 equal to the fair value, and the net cumulative unrealized gains recognized is in equity amounted to 50,000. Here's the thing. On July 1, 20X2, ABC acquired additional 15,000. Acquired additional 15,000 shares at 70, resulting to an increase in ownership interest over XYZ from previous 10 to 25%. The fair value of the net assets of XYZ as of July 1 is 6 million. This should be 6 million pesos. Okay. Concept, fair value Dimas cost approach. The simplest way to apply that, what is the previous shares? The previous shares held is 10,000 shares. Okay, this is 10,000. 10,000 plus the additional shares of 15,000. Okay. So the total number of shares is 25,000 shares. Okay. So this is 10,000 plus 15,000 shares. So that is 25,000 shares. 25,000 shares times the acquisition cost of 70 in this problem. So this is now the carrying value of the investment. That is just the simple application of the fair value Dimas cost approach. Okay. So this is 1,750,000. That is the answer in problem A. Okay? And in problem B, how much is the goodwill? So this acquisition cost should only be compared for the carrying value of the net assets acquired. And the carrying value of the net assets acquired is how much? Or the fair value of the net, the share in the fair value of the net assets acquired. Okay, so this is merely your acquisition cost, and you will compare that with the amount of the acquired fair value of the net assets at the existing date, and the existing date is July 1, wherein the fair value is 6 million pesos. Diba? Ganun lang naman kayo mag-compute sa offer nyo. Okay? So this is 60% of or 25% of 6 million pesos. Okay? So that is 25% of 6 million pesos, and this is the corresponding fair value of the net assets acquired. That is 1.5. Then this will now be result to a goodwill amounting to 250,000 pesos. 1.75 minus 1.5 will be the answer. Okay? And that is 250,000 pesos goodwill. Okay? So next problem. The next problem is not anymore. The next problem is not anymore related to the fair value deemed as cost approach. Okay? Can we proceed now to item 13? Thumb sign will do. Thank you. Okay, so let's have item 13. Item 13 is more of your interest class. And this is now the interrelated transactions. Okay. Concept tayo dito, class. I'll be sharing now my full screen, no, para hindi tayo nagpapalit-palit. Okay? Okay. So, ang concept nito, class, ay ganito. This is what you call in FAR as interrelated transactions. Okay? And this is what you call intercompany transactions in your FAR. Okay? So the concept behind this is there is a sale. Okay? And a sale here may be the so-called downstream sale or an upstream sale. Okay. When we say that there is a downstream sale, if the seller is the investor. Okay? If the seller is the investee, that is what you call an upstream sale. Okay. Yan. So this is now a downstream sale and an upstream sale. Okay. The purpose here is to eliminate the unrealized profit. Siguro mas maganda ganito. Game. Bumili ka ng sapatos. Okay? Ang halaga ng sapatos na binili mo ay 100 pesos. Okay? Then, huwag mo na isipin kung ano itsura ng sapatos na yun. Okay? The tendency is, pag bumili ka ng sapatos, let's say sa tindahan, kasyang-kasya sa'yo. The tendency is, pag uwi mo ng bahay, sinusukat mo ulit yan. Okay? Ang problema, pagdating sa bahay nyo, nung sinusukat mo na, hindi na magkasya sa paa mo. Okay? Ano ginawa mo? Pinasukat mo sa nanay mo. At sumakto sa paa ng nanay mo. Now, ang sabi mo sa kanya, sige nay, benta ko na lang sa iyo yan. Benta ko na lang sa halagang 150 pesos. O, diba? Nabili mo lang ng 100, pero binibenta mo sa nanay mo ng 150 pesos. Okay? Ang tanong, magkano ang ikinayaman ng pamilya ninyo? Chat box, please. Magkano ang ikinayaman ng pamilya ninyo? Wala, di ba? And that is the essence of this interrelated transaction. This is also the essence of the intercompany transactions in a farm. And that is why all, okay? That is why, nasa na yun? That yung concept map. That is why the main objective here is to eliminate the unrealized profit. Because that profit is unrealized, hindi kinayaman ng pamilya nyo yan. Kahit binenta mo sa nanay mo ng 150 at kumita ka ng 50, hindi yumaman ang pamilya ninyo. So the objective here is to eliminate the unrealized profit, but up to what extent? Okay? If that is a downstream sale, tanggalin mo lahat. Okay? Paano tanggalin lahat, sir? Lahat ng unrealized profit, tanggalin mo. Okay? Pag upstream sale, only up to the percentage of ownership. Bakit? Kasi class ganito eh. Kung ikaw si investor, binenta mo yan kay investee. Alam mo eh, kung magkano ang kita mo eh. Di ba? Lahat yun tanggal. Pero pag si investee, binenta kay investor class, tandaan mo na yung kita ni investee, papasok yan sa net income niya. At nakikishare ka lang sa net income na yun. Kaya, upstream sales is only based on the percentage of ownership. Okay. Ngayon, ano nga ba ang binibenta? Tatlo lang naman ang binibenta eh. One, inventory. Pangalawa, depreciable assets. Pangatlo, non-depreciable assets. Yan lang naman ang mga binibenta. Okay, paano kapag inventory ang binenta? Pag inventory ang binenta at merong bentahan between magkamag-anak, let's say in 20x1, then recognize an unrealized profit. And that unrealized profit should be eliminated. Up to what extent? If that is a downstream sale, lahat. If that is an upstream sale, a percentage of the ownership. Okay, so unrealized yon. Kailan yan marirealize? Kapag binenta yan ng nanay mo sa kapitbahay nyo na hindi nyo kamag-anak. When to realize na unrealized profit? Upon sale to outside or external party. Okay, let's say in 20x2, binenta sa outside party. That's the time that the unrealized profit can be realized. What if, sir, kapag depreciable asset ang binenta? Pag depreciable asset ang binenta, let's say 20x1, bentahan ng magkamag-anak, tanggalin mo yung unrealized profit. Okay? Unrealized profit is to be eliminated. Up to what extent? It depends on what type of sale. If that is a downstream or upstream sale. Okay? Ang tanong, kailan mo marirealize yung unrealized profit na ito? Okay, ganito yan klase. The inventory has been sold. Okay? With the intention that that inventory should be sold to another party. Yan talaga ang role ng inventory. Hindi naman siya for consumption eh. Pag binenta sa'yo inventory para ibenta mo rin ulit. Okay? Pag depreciable assets class, binenta sa'yo yan, hindi para ibenta mo ulit, para gamitin. Ulitin ko, the depreciable assets pag binenta sa'yo, ang intensyon hindi para ibenta mo ulit, kundi para gamitin. Meaning, the unrealized profit can be realized when the purpose has been served. And what is the purpose? And the purpose is para gamitin mo yung asset. So if the purpose has been served, then pwede ka nang mag-recognize ng realized profit. Let's say the unrealized profit is 10 pesos. Okay? And the depreciable asset, for example, is an equipment. Okay? And that equipment has a remaining useful life of 10 years. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, what is the expected na period of years na gagamitin mo yan? Siyempre, within its remaining useful life of 10 years. Therefore, the 10 unrealized profit can be considered as realized over the next 10 years. Because the purpose has been served pag ginamit mo na. Let's say in 20x1, ginamit mo, di mag-recognize ka na rin ng realized profit. Not at 10 pesos, but 10 divided by 10 years, which is only 1 peso. Meaning the unrealized profit can be realized over the next 10 years or over the next period of years when the asset can be used. Okay? Yan yun. What if, sir, kapag non-depreciable assets? Ito, theoretical ito. Let's say land, no? Related party transaction, 20x1 unrealized profit yan. Bentahan between magkamag-anak. Ang tanungan lagi dyan, when to realize it. Okay, the treatment of this in theory is as if inventory. This can be realized upon sale to external party. Okay? So, ang tanungan lagi sa FAR class is this. Hindi naman ganong komplikado. Doon sa FAR ninyo, medyo komplikado yun kasi maraming transaction between the corporation in a business combination. Dito class, the most common question na tinatanong is what is the adjusted share in net income? Okay? Paano yan? So, let's now go to the problem. So, dito tayo. Sinare ko na yung buong screen, no? Para hindi nag-delay. Okay. Problema yan, nakikita mo yung mga sagot mo. Pero okay na yun. Okay. Wait, tama ba ako? Naka-share ang screen? Wait class ha. Siguraduhin lang natin. Okay. Nasaan ako? Nasa Excel file ako ngayon. Yan. Tama, Excel file? Okay. So, item 13. We're at item 13 class. Okay? In item 13, in item 13, the requirement is the share in profit or loss. Okay? We will use the concept here. The first thing to do is this. Okay. Pag nagsasagot ganito. Okay. Alam natin that there is an interrelated transactions. Okay. Related party transactions. Let's read. ABC owns 20% of XYZ and uses the equity method because it has significant influence. In 20x1, ABC sells inventory to XYZ for 100,000 with a 60% gross profit on the transaction. The inventory remains unsold during 20x1 and was sold by XYZ to external parties in 20x2. ABC's income tax rate is 30%. XYZ reported profit of 1 million and 1.2 million on December 31 X1 and 20x2 respectively. Compute for the share in profit or loss of associate in 20x1 and 20x2. Ganito yan, class. So, 20x1, 20x2. Yan yun eh. Okay? Ang tinatanong sa'yo, what is the share in profit or loss in 20x1 and 20x2? Okay? Share in profit or loss in 20x1 and 20x2. Okay, game. What is the income reported? That is your step number 1 eh. The income reported or the profit reported is 1 million and 1.2 million. So this is 1 million and this is 1.2 million. 1,200,000 pesos. Okay. So, game. So, the unadjusted share in net profit is this. You have a share percentage of ownership of 20%. So, this is 20%. So, this is 20%. Okay. So, this is now the unadjusted profit. Okay. Unadjusted share in net income, which is 200,000 here, which is 240,000 in 20x2. So this is 1.2 times 20x2 times 20% is 240,000. Okay, ito na class. Papasok na yung interrelated transaction. Okay. What is the subject asset sold? Establish mo muna yon. Inventory is the asset sold. Okay. Then, tanong, meron bang bentahan between magkamag-anak in 20x1? Yes, may bentahan between magkamag-anak in 20x1. In 20x1, ABC sells inventory to XYZ. Ibig sabihin, if there is a bentahan between magkamag-anak, there should be the so-called unrealized profit. Unrealized profit. Okay? That should be eliminated. Okay? Up to what extent? It depends on what type of sale. If that is a downstream sale or an upstream sale. Ang tanong, what type of sale is this? Is this an upstream sale or a downstream sale? Chat box, please. Is this an upstream? This is a downstream sale. Okay? And if this is a downstream sale, all unrealized profit should be eliminated. Okay? And what is now the unrealized profit? Again, lagay ko dito no for reference no kapag nagso-solve ka. Kapag downstream sales, downstream, all unrealized profit should be eliminated. Kapag upstream sale, only up to the percentage of ownership. Okay. Go. So, what is now the unrealized profit here? Let's compute. So, that is 100,000. This is 100,000. 100,000 times the gross profit rate of 60% times 60% times the, tanggalin mo yung effect ng income tax natin na 30%. So, times 70%. Okay? This is 100,000 times the GP rate of 60% times 70% to offset or to negate the 30% income tax rate. So, this is now the unrealized profit. Okay, this is 42,000, which should be eliminated. Okay, which should be eliminated. So, magiging minus 42 yan. Okay, then the next question is there a realized profit to be recognized in 20x1? Binenta ba ito sa outside party in 20x1? Remember that this is an inventory. And when to realize the unrealized profit if that is inventory, if this inventory were sold to external or outside party. Okay? So dito sabi niya, the inventory remains unsold during 20x1. So therefore, there is no realized profit here. Therefore, this is the adjusted share in net income to be recognized in 20x1. And the answer here should be 200 minus 42. This is 158,000 for 20x1. Okay, let's move to 20x2. Sa 20x2 ba, meron bang bentahan between magkamag-anak? Wala naman. Walang sinabi na bentahan between ABC and XYZ in 20x2. Therefore, there is no unrealized profit. Pero meron bang bentahan sa external parties? The answer is yes. So that's the time that the unrealized profit can be realized. And this is 42,000 pesos. It says here that and was sold by ABC to external parties only in 20x2. Therefore, the answer here is 282,000 pesos. Okay, so this is 282,000 pesos. That is now your downstream sale. Let's move to item 14. In item 14, this is now an upstream sale. Okay, so upstream sale, the investee is the seller. Okay, basa. So tatanggalin ko lang ibang details for us to proceed. Okay. ABC owns 20% of XYZ and uses the equity method because it has significant influence in X1 XYZ sells to ABC for 100,000 with a gross profit of rate of 60% on the transaction. The inventory remains unsold during 20X1 and was sold by XYZ to external parties only in 20X2. ABC's income tax rate is 30%. The reported profit in 20X1 is 1 million, while in 20X2, 1.2 million pesos. And again, compute for the share in profit or loss of associate in 20X1 and 20X2. Ito na ulit yun. So the reported income is 1 million and 1.2 million. 20% is the ownership interest. This is now the unadjusted share in net income. Okay, the first thing that you will do is to ask the question, meron bang unrealized profit yan? Meron bang unrealized profit? Tanungin mo kung may bentahan between magkamag-anak. The answer is yes. There is a transaction between XYZ and ABC. Okay, next question. What type of sale? Is that an upstream or downstream sale? In this case, this is an upstream sale. Okay, so this unrealized profit should be eliminated. Anong sabi natin? If that is an upstream sale, that is only based on the percentage of ownership. Okay? So let's now compute for the unrealized profit that should be eliminated. So that is 100,000 times 60%, okay, times to negate the 30% income tax rate times 70%. Meron pang isa, times the percentage of ownership, which is 20%. Okay, because this is an upstream sale, wherein the percentage, wherein the unrealized profit to be eliminated is only based on the percentage of ownership. So therefore, this is the amount to be eliminated. Okay? So again, unrealized profit to be eliminated is only 8,400 because this is an upstream sale. In the previous problem, all unrealized profit should be eliminated because this is a downstream sale. Okay? So ito, ang kulang lang dyan, ito, 100,000 times 0.6 times 0.7 times 100%, that represents all. Dito naman, that is 100,000 times 0.6 GP rate times 0.7 to negate the income tax rate of 30% times the percentage of ownership of 20%. Is there a realized profit in 20X1? The answer is none kasi wala namang bentahan sa outside party. Therefore, this is now the adjusted share in net income, which is 200,000 minus 8,400, and the answer is yes, 191,600 for 20X1 and for 20X2. May bentahan ba between magkamag-anak? Wala. Pero binenta ba to sa external party? Yes, was sold to external parties in 20X2. Therefore, this 8,400 can be realized when? In 20X2. So this is 8,400 pesos here. Therefore, the answer here is 248,400. Okay, that is now your item 14. Next in the line is item 15. Item 15. Item 15, downstream sale of depreciable assets. This is now depreciable asset. Concept na naman tayo. Balikan ko lang na mabilis. Ano ang tinapos natin? Ito. Nandito ka na. Okay? The unrealized profit should be eliminated. Up to what extent gamitin mo to? Okay? Downstream, upstream. The unrealized profit to be eliminated. All for downstream, percentage of ownership if that is upstream. When to realize? When to realize if the purpose has been served, if the asset has been used over the remaining useful life of the asset. Let's go to the problem. Okay. ABC owns 20% of XYZ. On January 1, X1, ABC sold equipment with a carrying amount of 100,000 and the remaining useful life of 10 years to XYZ for 120,000. Gain of 20,000 was recorded by ABC. So this is the profit. Okay, this is the unrealized profit. Okay, both ABC and XYZ use the straight line method of depreciation. XYZ reported a profit amounting to 1 million and 1.2 million on December 20X1 and December 20X2 respectively. Compute for the share in profit or loss. What type of sale is this? This is a downstream sale because ABC, the investor, is the seller. Okay? Okay, so let's copy this portion to save time. Okay? Game. So, ang sabi, ay, mali pa, no? Yan. Yan. Okay. Game. So, ang sabi, in 20X1 and 20X2, meron ding reported profit na 1 million and 1.2 million. Ito yun, 1 million and 1.2 million pesos. Okay. Then, sabi, 20% ang ownership interest. Then, sabi, nagkaroon ng bentahan between magkamag-anak. Ano ang binenta? Equipment, which is a depreciable asset. Okay. So, the unadjusted share here in net income is 1 million times 20%. And for 20X2, 1 million times 20%. 1.2 times 20%. Yan. Okay. And X1, in X1, nagkaroon ba ng bentahan between magkamag-anak? The answer is yes. So there should be an unrealized profit that should be eliminated. Okay. At what extent? Determine what type of sale. This is a downstream sale. So meaning all unrealized profit should be eliminated. How much now is the unrealized profit? 20,000 pesos. So this is 20,000 pesos. Okay. We are now at the second asset being sold, which is the depreciable asset. Okay, ang tanong ko, is this asset used in 20X1? Yes or no? Chat box please. Is this asset equipment used in 20X1? Y or N? Chat box. Chat box tayo. Chat box tayo. Okay, is this asset? Yes. So since the asset was used in 20X1, then the purpose has been served. Okay? Ibig sabihin, class, this 20,000 can be realized if the purpose has been served. Since in 20X1, you used the asset, then a fraction of this should be realized. And what is that fraction? That is 20,000 divided by 10 years. Meaning this 20,000 can be realized over the next 10 years kapag ginamit ang asset or the purpose has been served. Therefore, there should be an amount here which is 20,000 divided by 10 years. That is now the realized profit to be recognized in 20X1. Okay? So therefore, the answer here is 182,000 pesos. That is the adjusted share in net income. In 20X2, may bentahan ba between magkamag-anak? Wala. Okay? Ang tanong, ginamit ba ang asset ng 20X2? The answer is yes. So there should be a realized profit of 2,000. So the answer is 242,000 pesos. Okay? For 20X2. Okay? So next, we have the upstream sale. ABC Company owns 20% of XYZ. On January 1, XYZ sold. XYZ is the investee. Okay? Therefore, this is an upstream sale because XYZ is the seller. Okay? With a carrying amount of 100,000 and remaining useful life of 10 years for 120,000. The gain is 20,000 also, just like in problem 15. Okay? Both ABC and XYZ use the straight line method of depreciation. XYZ profit reported 1 million and 1.2 million for 20X1 and 20X2. Compute for the share in profit or loss in 20X2. Okay? So let's have this. So, wait class, copy ko lang. Yan. So, dito tayo. Depreciable asset pa din. The profit reported is 1 million in 20X1 and 1 million in 20x2. The percentage of ownership is 20% also. The unadjusted share in net income is 200,000 and 240,000 pesos. Okay. Then, is there a bentahan between magkamag-anak in 20x1? The answer is yes. So there is an unrealized profit to be eliminated. What type of sale? This is an upstream sale. So if this is an upstream sale, what should be eliminated is only up to or based on the percentage of ownership. And the unrealized profit to be eliminated then is 20,000 times 20%. Okay? Times 20%. That is the unrealized profit to be eliminated. So that is 4,000 pesos. Now, is the asset used in 20x1? The answer is yes. So therefore, there should be a realized profit to be recognized. And this 4,000 here, unrealized profit, can be realized over the next period of useful life. And the useful life is 10 years. Therefore, the realized profit to be recognized here is a fraction of that 4,000, which is what? Divided by 10 years. 1/10 of that. So, that is 400 pesos, and that is the realized profit to be recognized in 20x1. Therefore, the adjusted share in net income is 196,400. In 20x2, meron bang bentahan between magkamag-anak? Wala. Okay? Then, in 20x2, ginamit ba ang equipment? The answer is yes. So, there is another 4,000 to be realized. So, the answer in 20x2 is 240,400. Then, we have item 17. Item 17, this is now related to non-depreciable assets. Okay. And non-depreciable assets, as we discussed, yes, we are considering the unrealized profit at the time wherein there is a sale between magkamag-anak. But when to realize is theoretical, no? Kasi that should be realized upon sale of the external party. Yes, the purpose is to use the asset. Okay? However, this is non-depreciable eh. Kaya hindi ka pwedeng mag-realize ng profit over what number of years kasi ito ay non-depreciable. Kaya this should be realized, the unrealized profit should be realized upon sale of the non-depreciable assets to the external party. So let's now move to question 17. Okay? In question 17, the same requirement, that is to compute for the share in profit or loss of associate in 20x1 and 20x2. Okay? So, kopyahin natin to save time. However, the case file should be amended. So, this is now a non-depreciable assets. Okay? Then, the reported income is also 1 million and 1.2 million for X1 and X2 with a share of 20%. On January 1, X1, ABC sold. The investor is the seller, so this is a downstream sale. Okay? Land with the carrying amount of 100 and the gain recognized is 20,000 pesos. So what is the subject asset sold? Land, which is a non-depreciable asset. Okay? So this is the adjusted share in net income. That is 1 times 20% and 1.2 million times 20%. Then 20x1, may bentahan ba between magkamag-anak? Yes. In 20x1, ABC sold land to XYZ. Okay? So this is, there should be an unrealized profit that should be eliminated. At what extent? It depends on what type of sale is that. Is this a downstream or upstream sale? This is a downstream sale. Therefore, all unrealized profit should be eliminated. And what is the unrealized profit to be eliminated? That is the whole 20,000 pesos here. Okay? Is this a realized profit? Non-depreciable assets can be realized. The unrealized profit of the non-depreciable assets can be realized if the non-depreciable asset is sold to external party. There is no transaction related to that wherein the non-depreciable asset was sold to external party. Therefore, there is no realized profit. Therefore, the answer here, adjusted share in net income is 180,000 pesos. Then we have 20x2. In 20x2, meron bang bentahan between magkamag-anak? The answer is none. Therefore, there is no unrealized profit to be eliminated. Is the non-depreciable asset sold to external party in 20x2? The answer is no. Therefore, there is no realized profit to be recognized. Okay? Therefore, the answer here is 240,000 pesos. Let's move to item 18. In item 18, this is now an upstream sale. Okay? And the subject asset is still land, which is a non-depreciable asset. Let's read. ABC Company owns 20% of XYZ. On January 1, XYZ sold land with the carrying amount of 100,000. Gain of 20,000 was recorded. XYZ reported profit of 1M and 1.2 million respectively for 20x1 and 20x2. And what is now the share in profit or loss of associate? Okay, so let's deal with this. This is again the unadjusted share in net income, 200 and 240,000. And the unrealized profit is recognized in 20x1 because merong bentahan between magkamag-anak. And what type of sale is this? This is an upstream sale. Upstream sale because the investee is the seller. Okay, so this is an upstream sale. Meaning, the unrealized profit that should be eliminated is only based on the percentage of ownership. So what is to be eliminated? That is 20,000 times the percentage of ownership of 20%. Okay, that should be eliminated. Is this non-depreciable asset sold to external party in 20x2? The answer is no. So there is no realized profit. In 20x2, is there a bentahan between magkamag-anak? The answer is none. So therefore, this is 0. Is the non-depreciable asset sold to external party in 20x2? The answer is no. Therefore, there is no realized profit to be recognized. And what is now the answer for 20x2? Still 240,000 pesos. In the board exam class, pinagsasama-sama lahat ito. Okay? So the technique for that, isa-isahin mo din. Okay? Parang ganito. Let's have a simulation on what is the board exam. No? Recently giving. No? So, halimbawa, okay? Huwag mong paghahalu-haluin. What do I mean? If the subject asset is inventory, dyan ka muna. Okay? If that is an downstream sale, eliminate all unrealized profit. Ganyan siya. Okay? Then, kailan to nabenta? Kung hindi nabenta ng 20x1, inventory ka na naman, nandyan ka sa downstream, pagtabihin mo. Okay? May realized profit ba dyan? Sa 20x1 nabenta, kung oo, edi mag-recognize ka. Kung wala naman, edi wala din. Let's say wala. Okay. Tapos dito sa 20x2, tanungin mo na naman, meron bang bentahan between magkamag-anak? Kung ang sagot meron, magtanggal ka na naman ng unrealized profit dyan. Okay? Isa-isahin mo. Then, meron bang bentahan between magkamag-anak between the entity and the external party in 20x2? Kapag ang sagot, yes. Ano ang binenta? Yun bang binili ng 20x1 o yung bang binili ng 20x2? Kung ang sinabi, yung binili ng 20x1, therefore ito i-realize mo. Okay? This refers to 20x1. Ganun siya. Tapos pagtatabihin mo na naman, yung sa depreciable assets at saka non-depreciable assets. So, isa-isa ang analysis para hindi ka malito. Okay? Dudugtong lang yan. Halimbawa ito, depreciable assets, may bentahan between magkamag-anak. Mag-unrealized profit ka na naman dyan, which should be eliminated. Let's say this is an upstream sale. Eliminated based on the percentage of ownership. Ganun mo siya aatakihin. Wag mong pag yung alam mo yung chop suey, inventory, depreciable assets, non-depreciable assets. So wag ganun. Malilito ka eventually. Okay? So pagtatabi-tabihin mo lahat ng asset na binenta and classify that inventory, depreciable assets, non-depreciable assets. Then, yun, isa-isang analysis. Pagtapos mo na si inventory, then that's the time to move to depreciable assets. Pagtapos mo na si depreciable assets, then that's the time to move to non-depreciable assets. Ganon yung binigay in the last, siguro mga 2 examinations ago. Okay? And the items given are inventories and depreciable assets. But the concept remains as this. Okay? Yan po yun. So, si downstream and upstream sale. Let's go to the last problem related to investment in associate. But before that, no, concept tayo. Okay? So, dito sa concept natin, class, nandito yon. So, ito yung concept related to downstream or upstream, and this is the concept related to the share in losses. Okay. Yung interest in associate class, that includes these three. Carrying amount of the investment in preference shares of associate, unsecured long-term receivables or loans. Yan yun, class. Ibig sabihin, class, if you are having the significant influence over the investee, you will share in the net losses. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kung may investment ka sa tatlong ito, mauubos yan ng share in net losses mo. Let's say, you have a 9 million investment. Okay? 9 million investment. Nauubos din yan kung ang performance ni investee mo ay puro loss. Okay? So, yan. Puro share in net loss ka. Walang ginawang mabuti sa'yo. Sino? Si investee. At darating ang panahon zero na yan. Mauubos na yung lahat ng investment mo because you've shared in the losses of the entity. Okay? Kapag nag-zero na yan, class, zero na. Okay? Paano, let's say, gawan natin ng scenario, no? Let's say, in 20x2, let's say, nag-invest ka noong, lagyan natin particular year. Let's say, nag-invest ka ng year 2010. Okay? Then, nung 2022, lahat ng performance ni entity, ni investee ay loss. Okay? So meaning, from 2010 to 2022, nag-share ka sa net loss. Let's say in 20x2, 2022, ubos na yung investment mo. Naubos na lahat ng share in losses mo. Then ngayong 20x3, nagkaroon na naman siya ng loss. Okay? Would you share sa losses na yan? The answer is no more. For the protection of the investor. That the entity, okay, will no longer share in further losses of the investee. Okay? Meron lang disclosure of the losses not recognized. Itong disclosure of losses not recognized, class, binabawi yan kapag kumikita na si entity. If the entity or the investee subsequently reports profit, supposed to be meron ka ditong share in net income. Okay? However, the share in net income, hindi mo muna marirealize until after naubos na ito yung mga losses not recognized. Okay? Pag naubos na yung losses na not recognized at nag-positive na ulit, that's the time na pwede ka na ulit makishare in net income. Paano? Let's say, in 2022, ubos na nga ang investment mo. In 2023, meron kang supposed to be share in net loss na 10,000 pesos pero hindi ka na nakishare kasi wala na eh. Wala nang maibabawas pa sa investment mo kasi zero na. Okay, therefore, there is a losses not recognized amounting to 10,000. That is the share in net loss not recognized. What if in 2024, okay, in 2024, the entity or the investee reported profit and the share in net income in 2024 is 5,000 pesos. Okay? Mag-share ka ba doon? The answer is not yet. Kasi meron kang loss not recognized of 10,000. Tatanggalin mo muna yon. Therefore, that 5,000 share in net income in 2024 will be offsetted against the share in net losses not recognized, which is 10,000. Therefore, meron ka na lang 5,000 pa na binubuno. What if in 2025, okay, kumita ulit si investee and the computed share in net income, let's say, is 15,000 pesos in 2025. What is the share in net income to be recognized by 2025? The answer is 10,000 pesos, not 15,000. Why? Because there is still a previously losses that has been recognized, which is 10,000, which is 5,000 pesos in our given example. Ganun lang naman dito. Okay? Paano? Ito. Halimbawa, this is an actual board exam problem, item 19. Okay. So, lahat ng pinagsasabi ko, gamitin natin dito. Okay. Pansinin mo to. Ang tanatanong dito, what should be reported as loss from investment for 2015? Tingnan natin. Pero I need a T account here. So, kokopya tayo ng T account. Okay. So, sabi dito class, si BART Company, in-acquire niya, meron siyang 40% interest kay Hall Company. Okay, so that 40% is an investment in associate with significant influence over the investee. Okay. Then, this is the investment. Yan. Then, ang problema, class, itong si Hall Company, walang ginawang mabuti. Puro net loss ang na-recognize. Nag-invest ng 2012, January 1, net loss na kagad si Hall ng 5 million, 7 million, 8 million, 4 million from 2012 to 2015. Noong 2014, nangutang si BART Company, okay? Kay BART, nangutang si Hall Company kay BART Company. Okay? Magkano? 2 million. Ibig sabihin, expose ka na ng magkano? 7 million at saka 2 million. Yan ang exposure mo kanino? Kay Hall Company, which is equivalent to 9 million. Plot na natin. Yan ang investment mo. Tapos, noong December 31, 2015, it is not expected that BART Company will provide further financial support for Hall Company. Totoo ito eh. Kahit naman ikaw eh, di ba? Biruin mo, nag-invest ka. Wala nang ginawang matino kundi mag-net loss siya. Tapos, nangutang pa ng 2 million, pinahiram mo naman ng 2 million. So, meaning, 9 million na ang napahiram mo sa kanya or investment mo sa kanya. Tapos, it is not Siyempre naman, di ba? Kahit sino naman. Pag bumalik pa si Hall, siyempre, tatanggihan mo na yun. Wala ka nang ginawang matino, puro net loss. Nag-cash advance ka pa, tapos babalik ka na naman. Kaya it is not expected that BART Company will provide further financial support. Pero ang tanong, what amount should be reported as loss for 2015? I need now your participation here. 2015 is the subject period for the requirement. The objective number 1 is to identify first what is the remaining investment for 2015. What do I mean? This 9 million refers to 2012 and 2014 investment. Since you are at investment in associate that uses the equity method of accounting, the share in net losses should be recognized from 2012 to 2014 Yan muna, hanggang dyan muna tayo. Kasi si 2015, i-evaluate natin eh. Okay? Kung magkano pang isi-share natin. Ganito ang gusto kong sabihin. Ngayong 2014, ito, 2014 muna tayo. Ilan pa ba ang natitira nating investment? What is the cumulative amount of loss from 2012 to 2014? Di ba ito? 5 million, 5 million, 7 million, tsaka 8 million. Yan. Yan ang cumulative amount of loss from 2012 to 2014, which is equivalent to 20 million pesos. Diyan sa 20 million pesos na yan, nag-share ka ng net loss. Equivalent to 40% ownership interest. Ito yon. So this is 20 million times 40%. 8 million na class ang na-share mo. This is share in net loss. Ito yon, share in net loss of 8 million. Ibig sabihin, ang investment mo ay magkano na lang? 9 million minus 8 million, 1 million na lang ang natitirang investment natin. Okay. Now, tinatanong ka ngayon, what is now the reported loss from investment for 2015? Okay? The intention here is to compute what is the share in net loss to be recognized in 2015. In 2015, the entity reported a net loss of 4 million pesos. 4 million. O, tingnan mo to ha. 4 million yan. Tapos, since we are still recognizing the investment in associated equity method of accounting, there is a share in net loss here amounting to what? 40% of this. 4 million times 40%. Yan ang share in net loss as computed. Ano kayang pakiramdam mo ganito, no? Si whole company, nag-aral din ng accounting. Sabi niya, uy, 4 million net loss. Dapat mag-share si Bart Company ng 1.6. Oh. Anong pakiramdam mo kung ikaw si Bart Company? Ang naiiwan mo na lang 1 million. Tapos ang share in net loss mo 1.6. Anong pakiramdam mo? Sasabihin niya, alam mo, Bart Company, ang naiiwan na lang sa investment mo 1 million. Pero alam mo ba, minalas na naman tayo eh. May net loss na naman ako na 4 na milyon eh. Ang share in net loss mo as computed, 1.6 million. Alam mo, Bart Company, kung titingnan mo, kulang ka pa ng ano eh, ng 600,000 eh. Pwede bang mag-out of the pocket 600,000 ka? Siyempre, hindi mo gagawin yon kung ikaw si investor. Wala na ang ginawang matino ito sa'yo. Tapos, hihiritan ka pa ng another 600,000. Yan yung sinasabi natin kanina. For the protection of the investor will not share anymore in the further losses of the investee. And what is to be shared is only up to the remaining investment of the investor. And what is the remaining investment? 1 million pesos. Therefore, in 2015, the investor, Bart Company, will no longer share the whole 1.6 million. What can Bart offer is only up to the remaining investment, which is 1 million pesos. So the answer here, what is the amount of what should be reported as loss from investment or the share in net loss? The answer is not 1.6, but 1 million pesos. Okay? And let's now go to the concept. Since the answer is 1 million pesos, there is now a portion of 600,000 pesos that has not been recognized. Ito yun, no? Yan. Tingnan ko. Yan, no? Entity will no longer share in further losses. However, disclosure of the losses not recognized. Yun na nga, may disclosure. Balik tayo sa problem. Okay, mga what if na to. Meron ka ngayon disclosure dyan na 600,000 net loss not recognized. Okay. Tanong, paano kung sa 2015, so share in net loss ito. Paano kung sa 2016, nag-recognize siya ng net income na. Aba, diba? Net income na. Let's say the net income reported in 2016 amounts to 5 million pesos. Nagkaroon ng turnaround of events. Net income na siya. Okay? So, this is now net income. Therefore, meron kang share in net income. Siyempre, may 40% ownership interest ka eh. So, this is 5 million times 20%, 40%, 2 million pesos. Ang tatanungin sa'yo doon, what is the share in net income to be recognized? You cannot recognize the whole 2 million pesos, but you can only recognize what? I-recover yan. Yung 600,000 share in net loss mo, ibabawas yan dito. The previous share in net loss that has been disclosed amounting to 400,000 should be offset against the expected share in net income. The share in net income now is here. Okay? 1.4 million pesos. That is in 2016. Okay? What if in 2016, the reported net income is not 5 million? Let's say the net income is only 1 million pesos. Yan, 1 million pesos. Supposed to be that you will have a share in net loss. In net income, I mean. However, in 2016, you will not recognize a share in net income because there is still a share in net loss not recognized equivalent to 600,000 pesos. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, nababawasan lang yun. So, meron ka dito 200,000 pesos pa na share in net loss not recognized. And that 200,000 should be offsetted against further net income of the entity. So, if the question asks you to compute what is the share in net income in 2016, given this scenario, the answer should be 0. Okay? Wala ka pang share in net income nun. Kasi there is a previously lost, not recognized, amounting to 600,000 that should be still first recovered. Okay? That is your problem 19.